You know what? Maybe you're right. The idea that we have an amendment process that has allowed us to abolish slavery is a bit outdated. Or maybe this whole idea of the 14th Amendment and the 5th Amendment that provide for due process, that when the government decides to come after you, there are certain rights that you have and that you're afforded, like the right to a public trial, the right to a speedy trial, the right to a fair trial, the right to hear allegations being made against you by the government, the right to confront any witnesses that they choose to bring against you, the right to compel your own witnesses to come in and testify on your behalf, the right to remain silent and not have that silence be used against you. I suppose those are outdated ideas. The idea that I can sit in judgment from the government making allegations against me, utilizing a fair and impartial jury to make the decision whether or not the government brought the goods. The idea of the presumption of innocence and the burden of proof remains with the government. I don't have to prove a darn thing. Those sound like pretty outdated ideas to me. Or what about the cruel and unusual nonsense? I mean, for crying out loud, the government decides to punish us. The Constitution says you can't utilize cruel and unusual methods of punishment. That sounds outdated to me, perhaps. Well, then this idea of the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment says you have the right to defend yourself, Russ. Sounds pretty outdated to me. And then this whole idea of speech, press, assembly, the right to petition the government when there's a problem. Outdated ideas. Outdated ideas? Or the idea that Mark brought up earlier where you have a government that divides power and separates authority so one man can't become a tyrant and rule over the people. Yeah, maybe you're right. It is outdated.